Hey, what is up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys I have a little video idea here that I wanted to share with you all. And it's pretty much a problem that I have been seeing like kind of increasing in the Pokemon TCG lately, and mostly throughout Nationals. I had a lot of people telling me about this issue that they were having, just some suspicions and everything. And not too long ago I did cover a video of a guy cheating on stream during one of the city events, I think it was. But that's cheating becoming like just a huge problem in the TCG. And I'm not saying that like everyone in the world cheats or nothing like that. I'm not trying to say anything like that, but I'm just trying to say that like there is instances where I will hear people saying that like they kind of have like some kind of suspicion or like just some issues with people that they just kind of notice something throughout the game. And so I decided to pull up a few cards here on Pokemon TCG Online just to talk about and give you guys kind of examples or something like that. Just because like it's just the things I was hearing. Like my opponent, or no, not, like my friend was saying, his opponent had played one puzzle at a time and then had 3 cards on the top of their deck, rearranged. And then later in the game, he did the double puzzle at a time and then did it again, which means he had 5 puzzle at a time at some point. And pretty much like that's kind of like an obvious thing here of what happened. And like really like it just kind of sucks. Like, yeah, obviously you need to keep an eye on your opponent throughout the game, to keep up game state. Notice, they might have did something wrong, or they might have like attached an energy, something like that. But like when you think about it, you take your eyes off your opponent pretty frequently during your turn. If you play a card like Battle Compressor or something like that, or you play a card like Ultra Ball or something, where you go through your deck, or you look at your hand or something like that. You're just doing something along those lines where you're not really paying that much attention to your opponent. And like they might have an opportunity to maybe put like a VS Seeker in their hand, or put like a Lysander in their hand. Because if you guys didn't see that video that I did a while back, pretty much whenever the guy would see his opponent going through his deck, or he would see him doing something, then he would like pick up his discard pile and he would put a couple cards into his hand. And that's kind of something that I wanted to touch upon here. Like let's say you play an in, or your opponent plays an in, and you look at like the prizes and stuff like that. It's just a really good idea to keep an eye on how many cards your opponent has in their hand, and going upon like the draw phase of the turn and stuff like that. Just kind of keep an eye on that. And because like if they in and they have like 5 prize cards, and then like they don't play any, or they play like 1, and then like it goes to your turn and you're like, hey, how many cards do you have in your hand? They're like, oh, I have 7. Well, something obviously happened throughout that turn. If like they didn't do some type of attack that added cards to their hand, or something that manipulated their hand size or something like that. Or like let's say you're going throughout a game and you're playing a deck like Night March or Darkrai Giratina or something like that, and you notice that they're playing Double Dragon or Double Colorless, and you knock out a couple Night Marchers or something like that, and you notice that your opponent has all 4 DCE, or they have 3 DCE and 1 on the active, or just something like that. Just like some type of scenario where you see all 4 DCE have been used, and then you go through a few more turns, and then your opponent all of a sudden has a DCE out of nowhere. Like that's just something to kind of keep up with. Like the game state probably, like people I know personally, like it's a simple problem that a lot of people can have just accidentally. Like they'll just kind of lose track of the game state for a second while like probably on their turn, and their opponent just kind of sneaks some cards in. Or like you see like a Lysander or 2 in your opponent's deck, like you're playing a best 2 out of 3, and you only seen 2 Lysander throughout the game, and you see 2 in the discard, and they play another one somehow. And another card here I wanted to talk about was Battle Compressor, just because yes, it does put cards into the discard pile, which will make your opponent have a little more easy access of gathering cards throughout the game. Or let's say you look at your opponent's discard pile and they were like you're like really late into the game, and you notice your opponent has all 4 VS Seeker in there, and then a few turns passes by, and like your opponent plays a VS Seeker and you just don't notice. A lot of times like you just don't notice because like with so much stuff going on in the game right now, with Shamans, you got supporters, you got Ultra Balls, Battle Compressors, all kinds of nonsense going on throughout a turn probably. You just can't notice these type of things, and I just wanted to kind of inform you guys, that like this for a lot of people, like they will take advantage of you if you're not paying attention. If they see an easy way where they can put a VS Seeker or put like a puzzle time in their hand or something like that, a lot of people will do it. There's a lot of real shady people. I'm not saying that you're shady. I'm not saying that, everyone in this entire community is shady or anything like that, or cheaters or whatever. But there are some people, especially when money is put on the line, they'll do anything to win. And, yeah, it sucks that people will cheat at a children's card game, but, you gotta face the facts, like this game takes money, and, it does take up a lot of people's time, for those who are playtesting and things like that. There's people who take this game very seriously, and, they won't hesitate just to do anything they need to win a game. And, like these are some of the cards here that I noticed, like maybe your opponent might sneak a Sycamore or something in their hand, or, you just gotta keep track of those things, like. It just sucks, like there's people who will steal, there's people who will cheat, and it maybe even be an accident, like it might not even matter, like your opponent just kind of says, oh crap, I messed up somehow, I'm not saying, oh crap, I accidentally put a card in my hand. That's not really necessarily what I'm saying. But, like accidentally playing like a couple supporters in a turn, or accidentally attaching another energy or something like that. And that's something else that your opponent might do is, like they'll attach an energy to start of the turn and it'll just keep going. You've really got to pay attention to your opponent throughout these games. And that's something that's very just scary. It's like if you take your eyes off your opponent, you let your guard down for a second, then they can sneak something in their hand that can change the entire game in their favor. You just never know. Like if you get rid of all their double dragon or all their DCs, then later on you might forget about it, and you're just like, well, shit. Because it's an ongoing problem that I've just been kind of seeing in the game lately, especially from like talking with friends and just complete strangers at nationals. They'll just be like, like my opponent played 4 VS Seeker and somehow one ended up in his deck or something like that. It's crazy. Like you can't really blame judges all the time, unless they're like sitting right there, obviously, like on stream or something like that. But you can't blame judges. They can't be everywhere at once. But like I just wanted to kind of raise the awareness and tell you guys that this is an ongoing problem, and that yes, it's been an ongoing problem for some time now. But there are a lot of cards in the game right now. Probably not post rotation. I really think we're losing cards like Battle Compressor and stuff like that. Some of these cards, most of these cards will still be in the format. I think really the only one leaving is going to be Battle Compressor on this list. So you still got all these cards here to look out for. Just because like Puzzle Time, VS Seeker, Lysander, and Special Energies are so big right now in the TCG that they're just cards that can really change the game state. Or maybe your opponent sneaks a Shaman in their hand, or just there's a lot of different things that can happen, different scenarios that can come up. And like I said, I just really wanted to raise the awareness and just kind of tell you guys, look out for these things, especially in these big events and big tournaments and stuff like that. Because now more than ever, you have to keep an eye on your stuff when you're at events and everything. Most of a lot of people that I know are just so used to kind of just keeping their stuff on keeping their stuff on the table, and like they have people standing around who will say, hey, get out of that or something like that. But if you get into a room with hundreds of people, complete total strangers, they're all in one mix and stuff, yeah, maybe at like a States or something like that it won't be that bad because still you're around the people that but it's crazy, like you got to keep an eye on your opponent during game state. You got to, keep an eye on your stuff. Yes, these are common sense things. Yes, these are things you should already be doing. But the fact that it's just so scary now that this could happen really to anybody, it's just crazy, And I just wanted to kind of raise the awareness. Point this video pretty much telling you guys to do common sense things you can do throughout the game, to avoid, losing or getting screwed over or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about this video. I just kind of wanted to touch upon this because this was a problem that I saw increasing throughout the game, and I felt like I might as well just speak my voice and say something, just tell you guys keep an eye on your shit, and keep an eye on the game state, just kind of do your thing and make sure you don't get screwed over. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, man, you travel all this way, you might pitch in for gas money, you might pay for the event, pay for food, pay for etc., whatever you need, you pay for the cards. You could be putting a lot of expenses into a trip, and because your opponent snuck one puzzle at a time in their hand, then all that goes down the drain. You just never know. I mean, it's a problem, and that's pretty much it. Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below if there are any cards I might have missed or any cards I probably didn't think of for this. Just I pulled some up that I thought of, that would probably be a good thing to talk about. But yeah, you guys take care. I love you. Thank you so much for watching again. And this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out.